And we are live for our first Snack and Learn of the week. Welcome, Tracy Beavers. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Pam. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. I want to tell you all a little bit about this amazing person before we start to talk. But you want to tune in, you want to take notes when you're watching this because she said one thing that has me have my pen right here because I get personal coaching during the Snack and Learns, which I love. So we're going to take full advantage of that. But let me introduce her formally first. So Tracy has more than 20 years experience in sales and marketing. So she owns three businesses, or she has owned and owns three businesses. She understands this roller coaster we're on of entrepreneurship. And oddly, for a lot of us, she loves sales and networking. And she wants to make us love it too. So her corporate career spanned tons of industries. She was in industry, lending, real estate, sales. And throughout all that, one thing kind of stuck out for her as she looked back, and that was her love of people and her passion to help them win wherever they were in her path. So she really enhanced this ability to build relationships with others and really listen to their needs. And that's the bedrock of why she succeeded in sales, because we all know that sales really are relationship based. But now, as a sales and business coach, she really enjoys helping us, small business owners, scale up to our next level with a really clear roadmap for what we mean by success. So, as part of all this, and to continue to build everything she's learning and sharing with us, she's a public speaker, a published author. She's been featured on some top business podcasts and is a regular contributor on one of her hometown premiere TV shows, which is amazing. And she's created something she's going to share with us, and I'm going to let her talk about that a little bit later. But first of all, I just want to say welcome.
Thanks. Thanks. Gosh, I don't know who you were talking about, but she sounds amazing.
She does sound awesome, doesn't she? I've met her. She's pretty cool.
Oh, it's so funny when
Wow.
somebody reads all that
How,
information. I'm like,
hey, it's really interesting to me because it tells a little bit about where you came from and why you're doing what you do. And that's what elaborate on that for a second, if you would.
oh my gosh, yeah. So hindsight, is 2020. It's like looking back over the course of my life. So oh my gosh, I'm gonna be 52 this coming year. And
Congrats.
well, thanks. That's been a roller coaster getting into your 50s. But
Yes, I agree. I concur.
starting out from college, so like I was raised in that generation where you go to high school, you go to college, you get the W-2 job and you stay there. And then you wait 40 years and then you get a cake and a pension and a gold watch.
Hmm. Yep.
Somewhere along the
Me
line,
too.
either my parents lied to me or things changed because my first career, I was downsized. I had a long career as a claims investigator in insurance, and that was my first taste of being downsized, being reorganized, being
Okay.
restructured.
Yep.
And I literally called my mom. I'm like, you did not tell me that this was going to happen. I was supposed to have this job forever. And so then, you move into something else. I moved into banking,
Hmm.
commercial lending, private banking, mortgage lending, loved it. But again, wasn't in charge of my time or my money completely. Moved into working for the title insurance company of that same bank, grew their market share 86% the first year I was there, just really exploded their.
Whoa.
But again, had a CEO that didn't know how to compensate the sales force and once again wasn't in charge of my time and my money. And so all of these things I feel like have led me to where I am now, which was 6 years ago wanting to start my first business. After that conversation with that CEO, I left there and I was so mad and I thought to myself, this keeps happening. Other people are in charge of my money and my time.
I love the way you phrase that. That's really is what it is.
Yeah, and it was so disappointing too. It was like, I'm working my fanny off and I'm making this guy a lot of money. And so I just thought there's a disconnect here in this corporate 9 to 5 thing. And I know not all corporations are that way. Some are really
Yep.
great to employees, but I just wasn't finding one. But I feel like it was the path I was supposed to be on
Hmm.
because everything I did, insurance, banking, real estate, title insurance, has literally brought me to where I am now. And I use all of that knowledge coaching all of my clients that I have for business and sales.
Wow. I love it. So what, like you have or owned 3 businesses. What are the 3 different businesses?
I still own 2. So the first business I started, I went into I did what every woman does when she gets mad at her CEO. She starts a network marketing company.
Gotcha.
So, but it was an easy point of entry. It was a low
Okay.
investment, no inventory, and it gave me a really
Oh,
good taste of what it's like to own a business. And so that was my
I love
first.
it. No inventory.
Yeah, it was premium skincare, and so I didn't have to carry anything. It wasn't like
Oh,
I was.
they ship directly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it.
And the part that I loved the most about that was helping the women on my team build their businesses.
You
I love.
like the team more
Yeah,
than you like selling the product.
yeah, I love that. Although I was really good at selling the products,
Yes,
and I had a large customer base there. That just sort of happened by accident, but the other part was what I loved the most.
the
And
coaching.
so, yeah, and so then, after a few years of still not finding my true happiness in a 9 to 5,
Mhm.
I thought, okay. And so I was having this conversation with some of my girlfriends. I was in a mastermind with these amazing women, and I was just like, there's got to be something that I'm just missing. And they're like, you should be a coach. And I was like,
Huh?
what? And at first, I started to be a life coach because people
Ah,
have always come to me for advice, for guidance, for, you know, my boyfriend dumped me, or, I'm going through a divorce, or, you know what I mean?
yep.
Or my coworker is angry and I
Hard
don't
to work with, right. Yep.
know. And so they said, oh, have you ever thought about life coaching? And I went down that path, but then it morphed into business and sales, which is what I really feel like my gifts and talents are in.
Okay, so it sort of feels like it's all come together now,
Yeah, it's all
all
come
the
full
different
circle.
pieces. Yep,
And
I
then
love that.
that third business is, don't laugh at me,
Okay, I
but
promise.
2022, during the pandemic, a friend of mine, it was another network marketing company. A friend of mine was talking about it, who has multiple businesses. She was talking about this company that it's dry nail polish. And I was like, well, that sounds fascinating. So she sent me some and I loved it and I kept buying it. She was like, okay, do you realize how easy it would be for you to join this and make some money? And I was like, okay. So I did it. And, and
And
it
now
was
that's
really
going well too.
made a lot of money with it. I did let that go though, that in the past couple of months, just because I figured out that being so diverse in my, like, a lot of people can carry multiple streams of income if they have a
Yes.
lot alongside them, but I had to let some things go in order to really focus my clarity and my space and my time for
Yeah.
coaching.
It's interesting. That's an interesting comment because we can handle multiple streams of income, but some of them either have to be passive or you have other managers managing them. And I think that's another thing that a lot of us, I was going to say women, but probably everybody who jumps out of corporate, which I did. And the other thing that people do besides joining a network marketing company is they turn into a consultant.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of started jumping out of corporate. And I went to working with smaller businesses, of course, but I had that same feeling you did in corporate. I loved it. I loved everything I did in corporate, but something said to me, there's a better way to do business. And that's what this opportunities kind of let us do, is meet those people and really get exposed to them, which is just awesome. And the fact that you're coaching them is great. So one of the things I really noticed when we wrote up your Facebook post about this is the way I interpreted it was you help people get unstuck, and it has to do with their confidence.
Mhm.
Is that like, do you have the knack of kind of helping people figure out what's got them stuck?
Yes, you nailed it. People come to me for, they want to learn marketing, they want to learn sales, they want to grow their audience, they want to get more money. But in talking to them, I want to know what's going on underneath all of that that's keeping them from doing those things.
Hmm.
And what I was finding most of the time was that whatever it was, it always came back to confidence. Um, are they setting.
Self-confidence, basically?
Yes, and confidence
Huh.
in their ability to be the business owner, confidence in
Hmm.
their ability to be that CEO. And in large part, this is women. I find this very, every so often, I'll find this in my male clients, but in large part, it was women. And it was that self doubt of, you've heard imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
But there
Absolutely. Heard it. I've lived it.
There was some of that, and there was some of the who am I to think I can do this? And who am I to charge this particular price?
That's a big one. I come across that one a lot.
Yes, I do too.
Mm.
Who am I to, how can I sell without being salesy? But it all came down to the peel back the layers, and it's all confidence. Have the
Huh.
confidence to present your offer confidently. Don't apologize about your pricing. Be confident in your sales approach, not salesy, not spammy, not annoying, but confident. Be
Yep.
confident in your ability to keep a profit and loss. I mean, you know this
Yep.
for
Yep.
sure. And I
That's
was one of those
exactly right.
women years ago who said, numbers aren't my thing. Numbers are hard. Math is hard. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let my husband take care of all of it. And then I
Mhm.
finally thought, Tracy, that's really stupid. You're the CEO of a business. Put your big girl
Bingo.
britches on and find a profit and loss that you can work with. And I found
Yeah.
one that was super simple. And now
Mhm.
I feel like a
A
genius with
champ.
these numbers. I'm
And
all,
that's the thing, you did something most people don't do. They think there's only one way because whatever the first bookkeeper they met said to them
yeah.
about what profit and loss
Mhm.
is they think, "Oh, I'll never understand that." But
Yes,
the real thing about that is that there are just like there are a million ways to do everything, there are a million ways to do this, and there's one that suits every entrepreneur.
for sure.
So, I'm glad that you put it that way. I found one
Yeah.
that made sense to me,
It could
and
be
now
as
I
simple
feel like a
as
rock star.
a notepad and a pen, or it could be as fancy as something like QuickBooks. Doesn't
Yep,
matter.
yep,
So yeah, and then, confidence in their ability to follow up with the people they've talked to.
mm.
When somebody, for example, when I have an info call with somebody, and they say, you know what, can I just think about this? Can you send me some information about your pricing and all that? And I said, absolutely. So I send them my pricing and I send them a little proposal of recap of what we talked about and the things that I want to focus on and help them accomplish. But I have to be confident enough.
To
And
follow up.
yeah, because we think, oh, well, if they need me, they'll call. Or, oh, if they want my stuff, they'll not necessarily.
They don't know you're there sometimes, and they still have questions that they're afraid to ask and that kind of thing. That's a really, really good point. So I'm gonna unpack this just a little bit because when I come to you, I say, "I need marketing and sales help."
Yeah.
We quickly figure out that, nope, I've got a confidence issue.
Mhm.
Do you shift gears and focus on the confidence issue? Do you kind of do both in tandem? Do they often discover, I'm asking you a million questions at once, I apologize, that what they thought they need isn't what they need at all?
You're exactly right.
Huh.
So the first thing that I do in my conversations with people is, well, of course, I ask them what they need,
Mhm.
obviously, and make notes on that. Okay, that's marketing and sales, and I'm talking to them, and I'm getting this sense of stress and overwhelm and frustration, and getting into the root of that. That most of the time is a time management workflow issue.
Hmm.
We're in reaction mode all day long, and you have
Yep.
no time to think. It doesn't matter how good I am at teaching you marketing and sales, you're never going to get to anything I teach you.
Mhm.
And so actually, that's more of the foundational piece that I want to look at is that time management, because I want my clients to build a business with ease and
Mhm.
flow, keeping their sanity, not being in reaction mode. And people think I'm crazy. They're like, I can't build a business with ease and flow. I'm like,
Yes, you can.
yes, you can. And I'm going to show you
Mhm.
how. And so once we start to unpack that and solve that problem, just that relief
Mhm.
can allow them to have that space where the confidence can come back.
Got it. So you by focusing on the real time management, it's
Yeah.
funny, we were just listening to a meditation this morning where they talked about not sitting still is
Mhm.
kind of like a glass of water with dirt in it. And while it's moving around and shaking, it just looks like mud. But if you just sit still for 5 minutes,
Mhm.
all the dirt settles and you can see.
Yeah,
And that kind of what it sounds like
that's
you,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes me recommend Calm because
Mhm.
my wife had actually found Calm a long time ago, and we've now listened to it a lot. And
Yes.
that was the one that popped up this morning. And when you said that, it came
Mhm.
up because it's interesting. So, like, which is the cause? Is the self confidence the cause of the procrastination, or is the procrastination leading to not having self confidence? And I think what I heard you say is if we can get a hold of our time and
Mhm.
really start to have time to think, to
Mm.
do our own stuff that we want to do, to really do it with ease and flow, confidence just comes.
I do. I believe it comes in the calm.
And
I do.
it's like finances too, because in your particular case, I love this because if you're not confident, it shows in every sales call you have, it shows in every interview of a VA that you might have. It's hovering over you kind of all day, every day, and it gets exhausting.
It is exhausting and it will derail your success faster than
Mhm.
any, like, it's like a cannonball to the side of your business ship. Just
I love that
I'm
expression.
just
That
gonna
is so true.
you just can't, yeah, because it's you have to have the confidence and the strength of mind to trust yourself and your decisions.
Mhm.
If you don't have the calm and the ease and the flow, you can't get to that point because you're just it's like you're this little nerve end
Yep.
reacting to everything all day long. How in the world?
Yep.
Even
Well, now that's gotten even more so.
Mhm, for sure.
And it's interesting. I think even if we, do have the overall belief that business can be easy, and it can not, and easy doesn't mean you don't work hard.
Exactly.
Like, hard and working hard to me are two different things. Like, hard is I am pushing this rock uphill.
Mhm,
Hard work is I'm clearing this field because that's what I need to do next.
mm,
Um, and I don't think working hard is necessarily goes away, but hard and flow, I really like that a lot. You can be walking with the airport sidewalk, or you can be walking against it.
right.
And sometimes it's just a mind shift change, like you said, that all of a sudden, turn around and
Mm,
boom, you're going with all of a sudden you've got momentum on your side.
right. And those boundaries that we have to set as women.
Yeah.
There was one gal I was talking to, they own 2 businesses. She was her health was starting to suffer. Autoimmune stuff was popping up,
Oh.
rheumatoid arthritis, all kinds of things that can be linked back to extreme stress.
Mhm.
And when I was talking to her, again, coming to me for business help, she has adult children and she was organizing her adult children. And I said, "Well, hold on. I mean, I don't mean to get in your business personally, but why are you doing?" "Well, I always have, and they expect me to." And I said, "Do you enjoy that?" She's like, "I don't know. I just do it." And I'm like, "Okay, hold on."
Yeah.
We took that off her plate and she
And
set those
everything shifted,
boundaries with the kids.
which probably helped those relationships.
It did. It made those kids stand up and take care of themselves, which
Mhm.
relieved that stress for her. Then we talked about, how about we set some boundaries with your clients?
Mhm.
Because I had another client who runs a neurofeedback clinic, and she was allowing the clients to set their own times according to what they needed. And she couldn't figure out why she couldn't get forward motion on any of the things she needed to do for the business, like marketing and sales. She was working in the business all the time instead of on the business. And I said, "Okay, let's talk about this for a second." I said, "You don't get to pick the time you go see your hairdresser. You don't get to pick the time you see your dentist, your doctor, your psychologist. Most restaurants will even tell you what time you can come in to eat."
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep.
So we need to figure out what works for you. This schedule has to work for you, or
Mhm.
you are going to be serving that schedule. And then you're going to end up with health issues and stress and hating what you're doing and completely losing the passion of why you started it in the first place.
I love that, and this circles back to the value of coaching with someone like you, because you don't when you're in it. Like, 2 things you've said so far of like, "Oh, yeah, I do that." Even when you do understand a lot of the concepts, you still have these days where you do this stuff,
Mhm.
and you get a paradigm set. Like, literally, something happened to me this week. A friend of mine called, they needed somebody to do a speech at their business, and I knew in my network I'd probably get a lot of people that might be interested, so I shot out a Facebook post, and a lot of people signed up, like 30. And I started thinking, like, the day I was supposed to get back to him, oh, I got to put a list together for him. And I have to tell him what I know about each person, and then let him pick, and then connect him with email, and then blah, blah. I made this whole thing up that I was going to, that he would never have asked me to do.
Right.
Like,
Like you were
ever
going to
would
do
he have.
headshots and bios of
I'm
everybody.
like, yeah, exactly. And I'm going, oh, and I'll pull this. I'm like, and I was on, and in my mind, I decided that, like, in an instant without it even being conscious. And then I realized I didn't do it the next day.
Right.
And then I realized I started to not do it the next day. And then I was on the phone with one of the people on my team, and they said, "Oh, yeah, we've got all these messages we're seeing in your messenger. Do you want us to do something with them?" I went, Oh, yeah. Could you do 2 things? Answer all of them and let them know thank you, and we're gonna get the information to the right person, and then make a list of them with
Mhm.
emails and send them to me, and then all I have to do is give it. It never occurred to me, and,
Right.
it's like if you're in it, it doesn't occur to you where your boundaries can be.
Oh, you can't see it. I have a coach for that reason as well. People and actually I hear that a lot. You're a coach and you have a coach. And I'm like, absolutely I do. Because if I'm in the swimming pool, I can't see, like, you got to have somebody on the side of the pool going, go that way. No, don't go this way. You know what I mean? It's like you just have to have, because
I know exactly what you mean.
you're
It's
in the midst
crazy.
of it and you can't see it until somebody comes along and goes, hold on, that's insane.
Mhm.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah, and that's the other thing you mentioned was the power of the mastermind that made you realize there was another way.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing you get. The power of a mastermind is you get other people, a true peer mastermind is you get other people looking at your business and going, and it seems like it's insulting, but it's not, because you just often haven't thought about the why am I doing it that way.
Right. Right.
I absolutely love that. So
Mhm.
one of the things that catches, I think, a lot of us up who are not marketers is how the hell do we manage this if we advertise in social media, if we're trying to be an influencer in social media,
Mhm.
how do we manage the chaos that's out there? And this is something you've got a little bit of focus on right now, I
I
hear,
do. I do,
through the
yes.
grapevine. Talk to me about that, because this
Word
is a
on
common issue.
Yeah, word on the street is that I'm good at this. I so my new online course and group coaching program is going to be all about how you can gain visibility for your business without paid ads. And it was born out of my frustration last summer launching an online course and a program. And I used Facebook ads, and I hired somebody to help me with them who was very expensive, and it was a failure. Like, thank goodness I could write it off on my taxes because that was
Yep.
bad. I might as well have just lit that money on fire. And so I started thinking, okay, Tracy, you've been building businesses for 6 years and building businesses for other people for 20 years. You were successful. What is different? And I thought, you know what? I need to go back to the basics. I need to go back to doing what I've been doing since I graduated from college and was building all these people's businesses. And so that's where that came from. And
Huh.
managing the social media aspect of it is very important. But also working your business and growing your business in a way that does not rely on social media.
I
So
love that.
part of what I'm going to be teaching people and driving home is that this Facebook thing could shut down tomorrow. We
Yep.
don't own it. And if
Especially the advertising side of it.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
if you are building you've heard this before, if you're building your business on social media, you're building it on rented land.
Mhm.
If the
Yep.
whole thing my question for my clients is, okay, if the whole thing shuts down tomorrow, can you get in touch with your clients? And if their
Mhm.
answer is no, we have a problem. We need to get a CRM system. We need to get an email list going. We need to get contact information. We need a way to contact all these people without having to rely on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest.
TikTok, Pinterest, yep.
And so the management of the social media, it is enormous. It is a very noisy, loud space that I have to take a break.
Confusing.
Yes. And so, I like to go back to the basics with my clients and say, okay, looking at their business model, where are their people hanging out the most? A lot of
Mhm.
times Facebook or Instagram, unless they're in the corporate space and they do corporate training, then it would be
Yep.
LinkedIn. And so then we say, okay, in the
Yep.
beginning, we're going to focus on one thing. So let's focus on Facebook. And
Got
we
it.
and we go back to the basics of, what does your personal profile look like? What does your business page look like? Maxing out that social proof on those places, because if you connect with me, Pam, the first place I'm going to go is I'm going to click on your name and
Yep.
it take me to your personal profile. And
Yep.
if you've told me you have a business, but I go to your personal profile, and I don't know how many times I see this and it drives me insane. You click on you know what I'm going to say. You click on the about section and what does it say? No work
Private.
to show
Yeah.
or private.
Or private.
Yeah. And I'm like, is she who she says she is? And if it says no workplaces to show, I'm like, hold on.
Yep.
And there's this whole disconnect that happens in the brain. And so
Absolutely.
that's just one basic thing you can do to help manage your social media better and get that visibility that you deserve
We got a nugget just dropped. I'm going to drop it in the comments. Make sure your personal Facebook profile reflects who you are
Mhm.
and what you do.
Yes. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner. Now, if
If
you're a
you're a
corporate
business
person
owner.
and you work
Yeah.
for somebody else and you don't want to use your Facebook personal for business, completely fine. But if you're
Yep.
trying to
So
grow
if you're using it,
and I have women say to me, well, it's for my friends and family and I want to put pictures of my kids. That's absolutely fine.
mm-hmm,
You don't have to really post anything about your business, but your about section, I need to see who you are.
mm-hmm.
I need
Because we're building as entrepreneurs, if we're using Facebook to build relationships, we're
Mhm.
using it to build relationships, and it starts to get you connected with that person. It's the old first perception.
Yes, it is.
It used to be you have to walk into a room. You don't have to walk into a room anymore. It's right there on Facebook for people to pick up. I love that.
Right. And then
Um,
managing, the other aspects of it, like is having your own Facebook group, does that make sense for your business?
mhm,
If it does, great. I can show you how to set that up and get engagement in it and make it a
mhm,
quality group very similar to yours.
mhm.
Or if that doesn't resonate, that doesn't make sense for your business model, then let's at least get you into some other Facebook groups
Where you participate.
where you participate and without the overwhelm. We can
Mhm,
organize those in a way where you know where you can promote on what days, what they're
mhm.
looking for, and you can manage it in a way that doesn't feel like you're constantly on social media 24/7.
Okay, so that's the big question. The biggest complaint I hear is, I need to do all this, but it takes so much time to do it. And you have talked about something called social content made easy. And
Mhm.
I'm actually going to drop a link up here and in the comments, because talk to me about how this works. The way you talked about this was 90 days of content in
30
30
minutes.
minutes.
Yep,
Is
exactly.
that real? Is that possibly real?
Yep, it is possible. So that's another way we can eliminate the overwhelm of social media. There are so many clients I have that they are brilliant people. They're creative. They know their business like the back of their hand. But when it comes to posting on social media, they are staring at their laptop and the cursor is, I like to say, literally cursing them because it's blinking, 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 or they're staring at their phone and they're like Cindy Brady at the spelling bee. Do you remember that episode of the Brady Bunch
Where she froze?
where she froze and she was just like, that's what
Yes.
it's like. They're like, "What do I say?" And I'm like, "What do you mean
Yep.
what do you say? You're brilliant. You know exactly." They're like, "I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. I don't blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, hold on." So what we
Breath.
do is I have a free video and guide. The video is like 10 minutes long.
Oh, cool.
And it's a 30-minute exercise that I lead you through. And it essentially is, okay, first we're going to visualize our client, your ideal client. I want you to visualize them, think about the words they use, think about the things they ask you all the time. Then I'm gonna have you make notes on that. Then I'm gonna have you brain dump, and if you can get to 12 topics, that's awesome. Brain dump 12 topics that is based on what you just said they ask you all the time. They're looking for their pain points, all of those things, the things that you're good at, the things you love. 12. That is 90 days of content.
Wow.
That is I can't do math right now in my head. That's
I
12
don't
is
do math in my head. I never do, and I'm a CFO, so don't worry about it.
okay, good. Anyway, so it's 90 days of it's 3 months.
Yep.
Hey, good.
It is.
Got it. 3 months, which is 90 days, give or take.
Yep.
I want them to get to 12. Okay, so then what we do in the exercise is I give them a worksheet where they can lay all those topics out and then they can pick, okay, am I on Instagram? All right, so I need to do a reel. I need to do, because if you do a reel, you get a twofer with the reel. If you do a reel, you can push it to your story.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yep.
On your reel that's on your story. And now Facebook has a thing where you could take that reel and push it over to Facebook Reels.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like you get a whole lot of bang for your buck if you do that piece. I
Got it.
also recommend a live video, and I know that makes the introverts in the room want to pass out, but I also coach my clients on how to get confident on live video, and I have tricks that I can show you where you can go live on Facebook and practice to your heart's content without anybody ever seeing it.
Really?
Yep.
How cool is that? All right, that's something you got to follow up on, folks. Look, it's a very easy link here. www.tracybeavers.com/social. You can be sure I'm going to check it out for sure.
Awesome.
So I was going to ask you to drop some stuff people could do today to help themselves, but you've actually already done that in a couple of different ways. One is make sure if you're using Facebook or if you're establishing your relationships for your business on Facebook, make sure that your profile's in order and talks about what you do and how you do it and where you work. Even
Yeah.
if it's, for yourself, that's a big one. But the second one you just did was, hey, if you're having trouble coming up with content,
Mm.
visualize. Well, first of all, go here and get this free download because that'll be big help. But a couple steps you could take today, just visualize your ideal client, who it is you're trying to attract, go through all the kinds of questions they ask you,
Mm.
and then based on those, come up with 12 topics, and you've got 90 days worth of content because you can break them down into little components.
Right, because you're not going to post 7 days of the week. That's craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So pick Monday, Wednesday, Friday just to get started.
Yep.
That's 3 days on that one topic. And all
And
you're
you're
missing
done.
is like a reel and a story and a something else, and you're done.
Yep.
And literally, you've got to let it go. You've got to do it, post it, move on. You
Yep.
cannot
And
ruminate over, well, it
is
should have
it
been.
good? Is it bad? How many likes did I get? Did it? Yeah, absolutely true. That'll sink you.
Yep.
And it's in what you're saying there that I really like is I also saw another post from a friend of mine, Jen Kem, this week, and it said something like, I'm misquoting it, but something like success is proven through consistency, not chaos. So it's
Yes.
about doing it, picking how many times and doing it. It's not about how many times you do it. It's about picking something and sticking with it over and over and over.
After week after week. That is
Yep.
how you're going to attract those people to you. They're going to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And
Mm-hmm.
and that live video, it is so key. And I'll give you another little tip if we have time.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you can practice going live. This is what I did several years ago when I first started, and believe it or not, I can talk to a brick wall, but I was still nervous because of the tech parts, right?
Yep.
Of pushing the live button and if it's going to work.
Yep.
So go into Facebook, create your own group, call it whatever you want, make it
Ah,
private or secret. Don't invite anybody to it. You're the
and
only one in the group.
practice.
And practice push all the buttons, see if you can break it, practice, do it. And the other thing is, I'll give you another little tip. If you're nervous about what to say, I open up a Google Doc in
Mm-hmm.
a window next to the Facebook. And
Love it.
nobody knows if you click over to the Google Doc because you're still staring right here at the camera lens.
I love it.
They don't know what you're looking at.
Well, it's interesting because that's exactly how I got your bio. So you can't tell now, but I've switched screens
Yeah.
and I was reading your bio off of, or segments of your bio off of another page, and then I switched right back to us, and nobody can tell I did that. Now, my glasses might be a giveaway if somebody is looking at the reflection carefully, but for the most part,
I
you
do it
can.
all the time.
I love that. That is great tip. Man, this is just gold. So folks, look, whether you're listening on replay or live, if you have any questions for Tracy, drop them in here. We'll tag her so that she can get a chance to answer them. But be sure, and I'm going to drop this in the comments as well, but be sure to jump over to www.tracybeavers.com/social and get these tips on how to get 90 days of social done in 30 minutes. I mean, that's an awesome investment of time from my perspective. And it is the one thing that seems to trip people up the most. But even more importantly, the favorite thing you said today was don't let the confidence cannonball sink your ship.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Don't do it.
that is so, so key. Even though we think we know what our problems are or the things that are tripping us up are, we often need somebody externally to kind of test the waters a little bit and find out if it's our confidence that's nipping at us.
Yeah, because just like making the social media content, be confident about your content.
You know your stuff.
You do. You're smart.
Mhm.
You've got gifts and talents. And by golly, if you don't start letting people see that, then you're doing the world a disservice. So just
That's a
be
huge point.
confident.
That is a huge point. I think of all the people I would not have met in the last 5 or 6 years if those people had kind of held back and not been out there to meet. And I didn't think of that till you just said it. I'm so grateful that every one of them that went ahead and got brave to do this did it, because I now have a circle of friends I didn't, including you, didn't have before. And I love that.
I do too.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for stopping in with us. This is a great way to kick off the week. Fantastic snack and learn. We're going to make sure that everybody knows the couple of tips you've dropped in, and we'll monitor it for comments as well, and then jump back to you. And thank you so much for participating in the group like you do. I really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. We really want the community to begin helping each other out and share. It has nothing to do with me building business. I build relationships like you do, and sometime down the road, if somebody needs a CFO, they may think of me.
Right.
But the cool thing is that in that time period, I get to meet and help other people meet each other and enjoy that the whole time. And that's a whole nother discovery I'll explain sometime, but this emerged out of COVID, and I'm so glad to have met you and that you're in the group and so active. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I can feel that in the community. I really like that. I like that
Awesome.
authenticity, and that it's not about business. It's about people caring about each other.
Yeah, exactly. And helping each other in business, which is just, it's awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Enjoy the sun there in Little Rock. I'll do the same here in PA.
Thank you.
And something happened there. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And apparently the sky's falling. So you all take care. Have a good one.